When a country is colonized, then getting the freedom is of utmost importance. The sooner you get, the better it is. However, it can be the other way round as well, wherein getting the freedom slightly sooner can lead to a huge amount of repercussions. So in this video, we will be discussing about the exact same thing that happened with us, with India, wherein Lord Mountbatten, he basically hastened India's independence, basically advanced the date of India's independence. So we'll understand as to why he did that. And this advancement of about 10 months, what did it cost us and our people? So let's get started with this video. So the news is about the transfer of power which was hastened by Lord Mountbatten. Yes, that is correct. So we all know that we got independence on 15th of August 1947. But got as in we achieved it would actually be the right word. We actually drove the Britishers out of the country. Wherein they realized that yes, it's not tenable anymore, it is not sustainable anymore, so they ran away. Before running away, they were actually formally transferring the power to us, and that transfer of power, which happened on 15th August 1947, was actually planned to take place in June 1948. However, the difference between the two dates is of 10 months. So, however, what happened, instead of June 1948, the power was transferred on 15th August 1947, as a result of which the entire history of India got reshaped through the speedy, uncertain partition that took place. So, let us understand what was the original plan. So, the then British Prime Minister Clement Attlee had actually set the exit timeline as 1st of June 1948, right? Then Louis Mountbatten was appointed to manage the transfer of power. India at that time was facing the deep Congress and Muslim League divide. There was a divide. Why? Because the Muslim League was coming up with the demand for a separate country altogether, as a result of which there is a divide and leading to rising communal tensions, because the separate country that was being demanded was based on the religious lines, as a result of which tensions based on religious lines was there. It led to the administrative breakdown signals. That means chaotic situation, breakdown of the administration was what was getting signaled, right? And partition was increasingly seen as an inevitable solution. That means something that will have to be done. Now, what happened on 3rd of June 1947? So Mountbatten hurried broadcast on All India Radio on 3rd June 1947, wherein he declared that he has accepted the partition plan, right? So on 3rd June, that means July, August, just 2 months and 12 days before, he says that, wherein there is a very minimal gap between this date and the date wherein we will achieve our freedom. Because of this announcement, there was a shock across the political spectrum. Now imagine a situation wherein people are in the Pakistan side of the border, but want to come to India. People on the Indian side of the border want to go to Pakistan, and now this partition has been accepted, so people would be running helter skelter. Okay. Now the historical records describe this as an abrupt and tightly controlled messaging. It was, of course, an abrupt messaging. Then what happened on 4th June? Subsequent to the declaration on the All India Radio, there was a press conference to explain the date. So independence date was then mentioned over here and fixed as 15th of August. Justification being chosen out of the blue. It's out of the blue, chosen, never thought of, just chosen out of the blue. It coincided with the second anniversary of Japan's surrender. So probably that was one thought, but advancing it was not because of this. It was because of the situation was becoming untenable for the Britishers. This particular thing is described as arbitrary, symbolic, not planned at all. Okay. Now, this entire transition was compressed, as I said, just over 2 months in 77 days. Now, the question is, why was the timeline actually accelerated, means sped up? That is because, see, because as in there can be multiple reasons, but let's see what the official explanation that was given. Administrative urgency and instability. They said that there is an administrative urgency, and uh, the stability is going down in the country. The country is becoming a lot unstable now. Key factors that were debated are lack of clear intelligence access, rising insecurity, overwhelming complexity of partition governance. They were scared of the situation worsening, political pressure, and the fear of breakdown. And if the breakdown takes place, the Britishers are the outsiders, so they will have to bear the brunt of it. And then there can be personal and political influence of as well. For example, role of Edwina Mountbatten. It is reported that she desired for quicker return to Britain. So just because she simply wants to go back to Britain faster, that is why you are doing this. How ironic it is. Though it's one of my favorite IPL teams, but it is similar on the lines of wherein Virat Kohli wanted to go back to England. So the RCB's winning parade last year took place quite urgently, and people actually lost lives in that. Of course, these two things are not comparable. This is of a different magnitude altogether. But a life is a life. If a single life has infinite value, that means it's priceless, then infinite lives will also have infinite value only. Let's move ahead. So, being empathetic is very important for these small things. Uh, you cannot take such big decisions. Emotional strain on Mountbatten cited in private letters that he has said. Increasing sense of fatigue and overconfidence. The historians has also suggested that personal factors may have influenced the urgency, nothing else. Okay. Now, what has been the consequences of this particular advancement? So this led to massive partition violence and displacement. As I said, people who want to cross the border on the other side are presently in India. People who want to come in India are presently in the in present day Pakistan. So they are all running helter skelter to go back to the place that they want to. Plus, people would want to be in India, but they have land assets over there in Pakistan, and vice versa. So these are things that are happening. Half the family on one side, half the family relatives on other side, friends, family, so on and so forth. Administrative vacuum, because all of a sudden the government is going out, and then there is confusion over the citizenship and the borders, who will be the citizen of which country, and what is the actual border, in which country I am. You are thinking you are in India, you wake up and you realize, oh my god, you are on the wrong side of the border, and those people might still be living in Pakistan only. So that is the issue. That is what it led to. Now, the leaders who were involved in the discussions were Jawaharlal Nehru, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, Muhammad Ali Jinnah. Muhammad Ali Jinnah was basically the representative of the All India Muslim League. Now, what was it, the question is, was it a urgency, a strategic urgency, or a personal judgment? That is still debatable. That is what has been debated by the historians. The rush was Mountbatten's and his alone, is what a lot of historiographical view actually says. So people basically accounted for the personal reasons of Lord Mountbatten rather than the policy or the governance strategic decision. As a result of which this kind of chaotic situations was created. Fair enough, chaotic situation is fine, but what it resulted in is communal violence, loss of lives, and that is the cost which no one can ever repay, right? So we have actually borne the burden of advancement of the freedom that we won for ourselves. What could have been done better is proper transition should have taken place in an optimum amount of time, so that the lives would not have been lost. So This is the lesson that we should learn from history. History is not just about memorizing the facts, but learning from the past so that in the future better decisions are made. Thank you.